Hello and welcome to episode 2 of this boat build series. In episode 1, we tore down an old neglected, beat up, rotting boat down to its bare bones to get it ready to build back up. Episode 2 is going to be stepping back real quick, and before we start putting parts on this thing and building it back up, let me show you the SolidWorks plan for what I intend this boat to be when I'm all done with it. So at this moment, we're basically here, the hull of the boat. We've gutted it. It basically looks like this right now. Here's the plan. First step of the plan is going to be to go ahead and put a full height transom on the back of this boat. I am going to do an offshore bracket, so I don't need a gunnel anymore. I don't need the half height transom. I can have a full height transom, and then we'll do the offshore bracket on the back of that. Then from there, I told you I want to put a cabin on it. We'll still have sleeping arrangements up in the bow of the boat. We'll have a back deck that's, I think, big enough for what we're doing. We'll have a standable roof, which we can use as more space or put solar panels on. Of course, there will be a door back here. There will be windows in all these holes. I think I'm going to leave the front rail that's on the boat right now still on the boat. And as I said, I haven't modeled it yet, but there's going to be an offshore bracket here. I haven't exactly decided how I want to do it, which is why I haven't modeled it yet. I think what I'm going to do is some tube work with some 1 3/4 aluminum tube. And instead of just welding this offshore bracket onto the transom of this boat, which only gives me as much structure as the transom itself has, which is just held on with a bunch of rivets. The idea with the tube was that if we do tubing, maybe we can have the tube go through the transom, and if you remember right, and there's a bunch of ribs going down the side of the boat here, and maybe if we do tube work, we can have this tube come in here and go through some of these ribs so that it's really, you know, this offshore bracket is really holding onto a lot and not just the transom of the boat. I mean, other than that, there's not really much else to show. The reason why I didn't leave the original cabin or sleeping arrangements on there was because I couldn't stand up comfortably in it. It just, how it wasn't going to be comfortable. One other question I got on the last video was, why did I take out all that foam? I just didn't feel comfortable with 85-year-old foam as my flotation. I'm going to put foam back in there. I do want to have that reserve flotation in there in case we take on water. Let's run through a little bit of backstory because I completely skipped that on the first episode. So I found this boat on Facebook Marketplace. I think I told you I paid $1,000 for it after I haggled my way into the boat. That's not the full story. Actually, going to pick up the boat was quite the adventure in itself. The first problem with the boat was there was no trailer. As you can see from these pictures, this thing is up on cinder blocks. I see it, I go, that's, you know, not gonna be very feasible. I don't have a trailer. This thing isn't gonna fit in the bed of my truck. Good price, nice looking, solid bones of a boat. But am I really going to try to pick up this boat, which is, by the way, like 4.5 hours north of my house, and get it home and everything that's going to go with that. And eventually I decided, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm actually interested in this boat. This looks like a project that's right up my alley, and it's the cheapest that I've seen an aluminum hull leading up to thinking that I may want to do a project like this. So I called the guy, talked to him first, make sure it's still available. He has had the boat for a long time. It's been sitting in his backyard, and he finally decided he's not going to fix it, so he might as well pass it along to someone else. I said, great. I asked him a few questions. Do you have a title? Any real awful hull damage that He says, yes, I have a title. No, there's no real substantial damage. The only thing is that it used to have 2 motors. Someone stole one, so now it's only got 1 motor. So I hung up. I thought, great, I need to figure out how I would go and pick up this boat if I'm going to. I got back on Facebook Marketplace, and I started looking for a trailer that was going to be big enough to put this 24-foot aluminum boat on. Someplace down 3 or so hours south of me, near the coast, I find this dual axle trailer. You can tell from the pictures it's not in great shape. It's got a little bit of surface rust. The tires, 4 different tires on it. Not a single one of them matches the other. But The guy says the tires hold air for at least a little while. The bunks are pretty rotted, but it's a good base for something. So I say, great, I'll be there tomorrow. Next morning, I drive down, get this trailer. It's all of what I expected. Beat up, bunks are rotted. Solid frame though. Tires, not great. I pay the guy. I start driving north. I stop in a Home Depot parking lot with a drill and some materials I buy from Home Depot. I put bunks on this thing. Drive to this guy's house and it's on bricks. It's a huge pain to get on the trailer. I'm winching it on with the come along. We keep jacking it up from the back, trying to get it high enough, back in the trailer and more, taking some more bricks out, back in the trailer in. It takes like 2 hours to get this thing on the trailer, but we do get it on the trailer. Thank you. Here's $1,000. I appreciate the help getting it on the trailer. He wishes me luck. He's excited to see it's going to someone that's going to rebuild it and do something with it. We shake hands and I get out of there. Not even an hour into the drive, one of the wheels flies off the trailer, starts rolling down the road. It didn't hit someone's car or injure somebody. Luckily, I was on a not well-traveled road. The thing just flew off into the bushes. I pull over, I turn around, I find a place to park the truck and the boat. I'm having to walk into the woods to find this tire. I go, man, what happened? When I find the tire, it turns out that just the hub and tire and wheel and everything came off all in one piece. So obviously, something's rusted in there. The hub nut backed its way off and this tire came off, which immediately makes me think, what about the other three? So I carry this tire back to my truck. The boat only has that one motor on it. It's gutted. It weighs almost nothing. I'm looking at it and it's like, it's barely even making that one axle sag. We're probably fine to go on 3, but I should make sure that another wheel isn't going to fall off this thing. I start pulling on all the wheels, seeing if I can feel any play in any of the wheels, as if one of the other axle nuts is loose on there. It seems okay. I don't have a lot of options on the side of the road. It's not like there was an O'Reilly's there, and it was already about time for them to close anyway. So I had to get in the truck and go, they seem okay, let's hope we can get home. So I drive home, I drive. It's getting later and later and later. I finally make it from Oregon back into California, and eventually I make it home. Long story short, quite the adventure, very tired, but this boat that I was interested in, I was able to get it home. So with a little research, I was able to figure out it was a 1969 Chrysler. In 1969, Chrysler made a boat called the Chrysler Lone Star Cruise Liner. And there's not a ton of information out there, but I was able to find a forum on The Whole Truth about someone else that had picked one of these up. And he had a nice picture of one of these boats kind of restored to its original glory. So here it is. He posts actually a lot of pictures of it. I guess this is what the boat would have originally looked like. I mean, it's the only picture I can see that actually represents it in a finished manner, because my boat certainly doesn't. From what I understand, and from this spec sheet, it was a 24-foot aluminum boat. Knew that. A picture of the boat looks a lot like his. Few illustrations of the boat and hull design. My hull design looked a lot like that. You can see the foam here. You can see the aluminum cross bracing here. You can see the sleeping arrangements up here. So this does appear to be much like what my boat looks like. There's a few details here that don't exactly line up, and I'm not sure how to explain that. I'm not sure if maybe this is the pamphlet for a different year of the cruise liner. But this one says it had inboard, outboard options, Chrysler, Volvo, OMC, Mercruiser. It has a max horsepower rating of 230 horsepower. I read somewhere else that the 2 outboard configuration was actually a standard configuration. That's not some oddball thing that some guy did to this boat. It doesn't say it here, but it was a standard option for these boats. Yeah, that's it. This is the idea, and next video we'll start seeing this vision, you know, start coming to life. All right.